every day we see everyone from an outside perspective. In reality, how one makes themselves appear might not be how another person will perceive them. For example, I might look in the mirror and see dark circles, weariness, scars, and just loathe every single detail that makes me me. However, someone else might look at me and recognize the amount of work I put into everything I do. Another person might recognize the happy smile that I always show them. And maybe, just maybe, someone might just recognize me for me. They might see that I hold the weight of every burden in my life on my shoulders, that I have a constant battle with myself and my self-satisfaction, that I struggle to not think ahead or stress about others, that I rarely live in the moment. And they might just see the little girl who had to grow up way too soon. But on occasion, someone will come by and see me, and they'll accept me for every part of me. And in this world, we've grown far too short of people who will take the time to do that for you. We all have once to strive to fit into a shoe that doesn't fit just for the sake of it fitting. Whether or not we liked the shoe or not didn't matter, because who wouldn't want to just fit in? In my life, I have seen myself changing my beliefs to fit into those around me. I've gone against my morals, sacrificing my own thoughts and opinions just to share a short-ended laugh with someone else. Doing everything I can to satisfy everyone felt like the air in my lungs, like my purpose in life. The never-ending chase with no catch wore me out, and soon enough, I lost vision of everything. If I wasn't chasing anything, then what? And eventually, I hit such a low point that I almost took my life. I felt like I had no one until one person finally took the time to see me for me. Miss Stahl, my AVID teacher, a person who smiles and says, "Hello, sunshine," to every person in the hallway. Yes, and yeah. An empath who feels what you're feeling and then some. A rock to everyone in my AVID family, including Yasmin, who is also a student leader. Yes. And a mom who makes the time to give you a call just to see if you made it home safe no matter what. And she's one of my favorite human beings on earth. Yes, I know, she is awesome. Miss Stahl knew me. She let me freely let go of all my emotional baggage so I could relieve myself from everything weighing me down. And instead of solely just letting me tell her how I felt about myself, she also let me see myself from her eyes. She replenished a broken image I had in my head and reminded me that though I don't realize it, people don't know what I carry in my invisible backpack. They'll notice the little things that I achieve, but not what it took for me to get there. So I shouldn't worry about what others think about me. But from that alone, she gave me the wisdom to realize that everyone else is also carrying their own invisible backpack. Every student in a building, every stranger at a store, every human with a breath, they too have their own invisible backpack filled with flaws, accomplishments, stories, and life experiences. So it's important to consider that when you encounter anyone. Because just as I continue to slave myself away to add to this backpack, so is everyone else. It doesn't minimize my situation, but it gives me the understanding to know that my journey will forever be my own, no matter how hard I try to make it look like someone else's. Not only is Miss Stahl one of the kindest, wisest, and most caring souls you'll ever come across, but she literally has no boundaries to what baggage she'll carry for you. Because even during our 14er, I had the great idea of bringing both the water bladder for my backpack and my full hydro flask, as well as everything unnecessary for a hike. Yes. I tried to fit in my backpack because I had the space. And for your information, you're surprisingly not supposed to pack heavy, and you're supposed to pack lightly for a 14er, because having too much weight can weigh you down. Yes. But even then, Miss Stahl took my stuff out of my backpack and she put it into hers, just to help me out, again. Like she literally carried the weight of my own physical baggage this time. Because that's just the type of person she is. She also has made me realize that no matter how hard I try to fit in with my peers and try to be at the same stage of life as them, it'll never happen because we don't carry the same baggage. Our experiences and journeys will forever and always be different from one another, and it's what life's all about. To have our own unique journey and enjoy and experience it for ourselves, rather than trying our best to make a duplicate. I was able to really learn this when my AVID class last year focused on diversifying the outdoors with the goal of closing the adventure gap. In doing so, we took almost all of our class to hike their first 14er, which, if you haven't heard already, is a hiking trail that is 14,000 feet or higher or above. But for our trip, it was just me, Miss Dahl, and my AVID peer, Kennedy. And one thing about me, if you couldn't see already from the mic struggle, is that I'm short. Yes. I get out of breath easily, I'm short. I struggle with inclines, and I am short. Yes. I'm 5 and 3/4 and proud, yes. And well, Kennedy is tall. She's like this tall, she's fast, and she does not stop. If you've watched Winnie the Pooh, we're literally like Eeyore and Tigger. Yes. So being in the same group obviously isn't ideal. And to be honest, I immediately felt discouraged and frustrated because we went through the same training, had the same supplies, and I was still always behind her. No matter how much determination I had to go up, I was constantly pulling myself down. Luckily, Miss Stahl constantly reminded me that this is your journey. And though I wanted to just give up and go down because I could never catch up, I suddenly realized that I am not Kennedy. I wasn't like the people around me anyways, so I might as well just make the most of my hike because it was my moment. Don't get me wrong, it took me so many breaks, so many people passing me by telling me, "You got this," for me to summit. Yeah. But nonetheless, I did it. I made it for myself, and only I could see and feel what it took for me to get there. And at that moment, it didn't matter what anyone else thought about me because they didn't get me up there. I did. I grew to implement that mindset into my life. I grew to implement that mindset into my life, and it has been the most freeing thing. I stopped spending my own time to lead someone else's image of success, and I've established my own. I've developed a desire to be content and accepting of myself at any moment, anywhere.